Have you seen those guys that do these video podcasts and they wear sunglasses while they do it? And I used to think like, why are they wearing sunglasses inside and stuff? But like, I tried wearing sunglasses while recording, and it's a different vibe, and I kind of get it.
Welcome to the F1 side pod. That felt very dramatic with this music. Is this Mexico's national anthem?
No, this is Azerbaijan.
Oh, Azerbaijan's. Oh, yeah, it's the one that sounds like a Imperial March. Anyways, this is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
It's my favorite track and my favorite national anthem.
Yeah, I can't believe it sounds the way it sounds. I'm hearing it right now, and it's wild.
So this is the F1 side pod. I'm Cody.
I don't have my headphones. That was a joke, and no one pointed it out, so now I have to point it out. You jerks.
No, I was just going to let it sit. I was going to let people wonder why you couldn't hear.
Oh,
Anyways,
geez.
I'm Cody.
I'm Noah.
I'm Paul.
So we'll start off P1 to 5. Perez, P1. Verstappen, P2. Leclerc, P3. Alonso, P4. And Sainz, P5.
You think Verstappen's peaked and he's going downhill now? Do you think that the domination station has left the station? You think he's done? He's a has-been? He's lost now.
I mean, that's fine with me as long as Red Bull's still on top.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
That's
I don't know.
That's all I care about.
I'm just wondering how this is going to affect LeBron's legacy.
Like, I'm a big Red Bull fan, but I'm not a big Verstappen fan. Mm-hmm. I don't like the guy.
Well, I'm more joking anyway, just because, of course, he just...
We're going the Stephen A route of just saying ridiculous shit that's obviously not true for clicks.
Right.
As if we post this stuff as just little bits.
But that's why, like, when I say Hamilton has peaked,
yeah,
it's true.
Well, we definitely need to name the episode is
Verstappen peaked?
Is Verstappen's reign over?
Okay, if it's not named that, it's because we said something funnier later on. So listen, if it's not named that.
I can't wait for it.
So
it must be so funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the Red Bulls were fucking miles ahead of everybody.
What, 16 seconds ahead?
Let's see. Verstappen was 21 seconds ahead of Leclerc.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
So Perez was 23 seconds ahead of him.
I like to think of them as an
underdog,
passable lap car now. Mm-hmm. Like a lap car you can race under is how I think of Red Bull now.
Yeah,
because they're just up there.
Yeah,
and you're not allowed to pass them.
They just kind of like set the
boundary for the
optimal
race.
Pace, and you just try and get that.
Yeah, and they're like a boundary to show but you can race anywhere behind them. You can race, and
but you can't pass them.
Yeah,
I mean you could if you could, but you can't.
But you're
physically.
Not. No,
so
they're like the new track limit.
FIA is determined you're not allowed to pass them.
Yeah. Yeah, Red Bull has determined you're not allowed to pass them.
And that's kind of the way I think of them now. So I would say the top position here is third, which my boy Leclerc looked great, winning this race in the first available position.
Yeah, yes, the first available position. Yeah, true. Yeah. So the podium
he finished first.
Yeah, the podium was actually Leclerc, Alonso, Sainz.
And he said too after the race, they asked him about Red Bull's pace, and he said they've obviously figured out something that everyone else is trying to figure out, and we haven't figured that out yet. So he's like, he said, so our team, we feel better about it, but then when you see their pace, it's like,
yeah,
well, what can you do? What can you do?
Nothing. The answer is nothing. We can do nothing about it. So yeah, I mean, up at the top was the boys, the FIA employees of the unpassable pace car. Mm-hmm. Ferrari did better. They didn't shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
I'll say Alonso and Stroll. I don't know. Are they a little slower after a month break? I mean, Stroll had some issues
Alonso's
a little bit.
Distracted by his new girlfriend.
Oh, Tay-Tay.
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
Paul saw a meme that said Taylor Swift was dating Alonso.
It wasn't a meme. It was an article.
I don't know. I don't believe that. You know,
I think
Alonso,
it was the article, a picture with text on it.
It was I think it was from Formula Dank.
Oh, so it's obviously true. Okay,
yeah.
Right.
They only have journalists there.
Yeah.
I hear
and there was a picture of him with Tay-Tay.
Yeah.
Or was it one of those ones where it's just two pictures of them separately and they cut down
an AI picture maybe?
No, the ones they do where it's like, are they dating? And it's just two pictures of them being separate, but they just put it together in one picture.
You know, they were together in the same
Like at a
picture.
race where
At
she was a fan. And she just came up to say hey to him because she was a celebrity.
Yeah, I'd
there.
say hey to her boyfriend.
I don't know. Allegedly, we don't want to be sued for this. I don't know which of them would sue us for that.
Can you get sued
For saying people are dating?
Saying people are
Okay, so
dating,
I'm
right?
not
It
a big.
depends on
I'm
if
not
it
a big
defames
Taylor.
them or not.
I'm not a
I
big.
thought-
I'm not a big Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie.
Yeah.
But did she have a song named Charles?
I couldn't fucking tell you.
Because I saw that in the article too, and they're saying Leclerc.
Paul's reading a lot of big
She has a
articles.
song named Charles.
something Charles was in it.
Well, that's
I'm
only
not
Charles.
referring to
I'm not-
Charles Leclerc.
That's only Charles in the
And-
world. So
I've heard some Taylor Swift songs, and I can't recall one named Charles. And I feel like if I'd heard that even one time, I would never be able to forget that someone wrote a song
About
named
Charles Leclerc.
yeah.
See, so I think she had a thing with Leclerc, and now there's drama in F1 world. Now she's with Alonso.
Well, that's got to be right.
Listen,
I mean,
if you're thinking, why did I come to this podcast and stuff?
it's
This
because
is
of the
stuff you
Taylor
won't.
Swift rumors.
This is stuff you won't hear at other ones.
Yeah,
and
they
you
don't talk about
And I
this.
don't know
They're
if you
afraid.
think of that as a bad thing or a good thing, but like, I'm just putting it on the table. This is what we're offering, and I don't know if other
Well,
people can
you know
offer
what?
it.
Tucker Carlson doesn't have a job anymore, so we'll get on here for him to go, why don't other media
Hey,
empires talk about if Taylor Swift is dating Fernando Alonso?
yeah, we've got a fourth mic, and no one's took it so far. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's open for anybody or not. There's a fourth mic sitting right here that's been open.
So, anyways, off of the super tangential Taylor Swift news, if you can call it that, they were air quotes. You just didn't see them. What team maybe isn't as bad as they looked the first few races?
Oh, we know, Cody. We know who it is.
McLaren, I mean, they didn't actually do this well in the race, but their car
Mm-hmm.
didn't look like a big hunk of shit that they got lucky to get points.
They did get points.
They got points,
They
and
got
it was just
2
'cause-
points.
And you
Yeah.
know what? It wasn't luck.
Yeah, they just were there.
It wasn't because a bunch of people wrecked out.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just got
They
the
did it
points.
on they're on their own.
Yeah. Good hard
So,
work.
you
And
know
on-
what?
and clean living.
On
Yeah.
their way to maybe fifth.
Good English, clean living and hard work.
English, clean living and hard
We
work.
know-
Exactly
we
as
know a
I
lot
would have
about
said
that.
it.
Yeah.
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 That old stereotype.
Right.
But you know who did really look like just a big kind of pile of shit this weekend?
You said
Lewis
shit.
Hamilton.
You just put
No.
a put a
Oh.
red E on our podcast, by the way.
Well,
It's
already
been
there.
on there from the
Yeah.
get go.
Up to this point, we could
Paul
have left
put it on
that-
there because he knew he was going to
Well,
be
up to
talking.
this point, we could have left that red E off. But I just
No,
want to say
it's
this
there by
episode-
default. Every time I post it, I put the explicit tag just by default.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
that's why we
It's
don't-
not a kid friendly.
That's why we don't have a lot of kids listening to us.
Listen, we gotta expect. I say don't turn anyone away at the door.
Yeah.
Well, they're not. We're not turning them away. They're allowed to
They just
listen.
wanna-
It
we
just
just gotta
depends on
educate
if
them.
their parents. want
Anyhow,
them
what were you
listening.
saying?
Nick DeVries. Terrible weekend this weekend. And I said during the race, maybe it's a hot take, maybe it's not. I don't know that he's going to survive the season potentially, but especially knowing how quickly Red Bull can be to part ways with somebody mid-season.
Well, every time I have DeVries on my team in F1 Manager, he's booted easily first 3 races.
Yeah. So I mean, Paul knows he's been.
I
there
know how to
before.
manage.
Yeah.
Manage kicking
What'd y'all
DeVries
think?
off your
What
team.
did y'all
Yeah.
think of the race?
I wanted there to be more action. I feel like there was a little
and
bit
I
early.
wanted more action too because sprint race had a lot of action,
Yeah.
Right.
and I was
Yeah.
expecting that, and I didn't get it.
Yeah, and it was a new kind of format this weekend that was interesting with that whole.
Yeah, and
Sprint
that's
race
I
thing.
didn't get to see qualifying this weekend, so I
Or
was
the
very
sprint.
curious about the sprint
Yeah,
shootout.
yeah.
thing.
So it's. I'll explain this for anybody who doesn't know about it. I looked it up recently. So basically, there's another qualifying and race in between the qualifying and race. So you've got practice, qualifying for the race. So that's how they're going to line
Separate
up.
thing.
Separate thing. Then they have the sprint shootout, which is a mini qualifying for the mini race that is the sprint. And so basically how that works, it's in 3 quarters, or 3 sections, I guess, not quarters. That's not correct. It's in 3
Thirds.
heats, if you will. just like the qualifying, but they're smaller. So SQ1 for sprint qualifying one is 12 minutes long. You've got 12 minutes to set your time. Q2, 10 minutes long. And then Q3, 8 minutes. So you don't have this big open time. You can do multiple laps, really figure it out, dial in everything.
So that's
You've
why
gotta hurry up.
That's why the sprints lineup was different than the
Yeah, so there was a specific qualifying.
because I
for the
wondered
sprint.
that yesterday too. I was like, that's weird. Maybe some stuff happened. I didn't take the time to look it up, but
Yeah.
I was wondering yesterday watching the sprint. I was like, this isn't how they qualified in on Friday.
Yeah, so literally there
Okay.
is a second qualifying and race within a race weekend for smaller qualifying,
See, I
smaller
don't like
race,
that.
smaller
I
points.
don't like it.
Honestly, I thought it was interesting at first, but
I like the
me-
old sprint rules, old sprint race rules.
I don't know how I feel about the sprint now, because when they started doing that more like
That was the
recently,
last 2 seasons.
yeah, like I thought that sounded cool, but sometimes it feels like that if you missed the sprint, you really missed the race.
Yeah, I get that, but I say as a fan, I like the sprints mainly because I get hard pushes from the drivers and teams on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Like you don't, because usually like during the practices, like some teams will hold back, and then you get like a whole Friday of practices, and it's like, okay, yeah, fun to watch, but it's like this lineup, yeah, you can't really,
You can't trust it.
Yeah, you
who was
can't
on
trust
mediums,
it.
who was on hards, who's on softs.
right.
How do you-
And then you get qualifying, which is fun on Saturday, and then race Sunday. What I like about the sprint race weekends, or at least
Makes the week more like a weekend event.
Yeah, last couple seasons, not so much. I'm not a big fan of the new format of the sprint races, but that's what I liked about it was I got to watch qualifying on Friday, then I get to see a sprint race on Saturday, and then full race on Sunday.
Yeah.
And if you had a bad qualifying, you had a chance to
Yeah.
get back into
Well,
a good grid position.
A
on
bit of the other
Saturday.
side of that, which it does sometimes lead to better racing if people are later in the pack, is sometimes if you have a good qualifying and a bad sprint, you know, like that. I
Yeah,
can't remember. I
that-
feel like
and
that
that
happened
sucks-
to Pierre
that sucks
Gasly
for
almost
them.
every sprint race.
Yeah.
Is Pierre Gasly would just get like sideswiped by somebody and get put out of the race, and then have his hopes dashed. But I mean, it's kind of a see both sides of it, you know. But I feel like with the sprint and the sprint shootout form that they're trying, I feel like it's a little too complicated. It took me quite a bit to finally realize what was happening. And then also, like, if they're not pushing for their position in the race, if they're not trying to better that, and they're just fighting for like
Then what's the point?
2 points, like 2 points can be a big deal at the end of a season, but like especially early on, are
See,
they
and
gonna
that's what
are they
made
gonna
it
push that
exciting
hard?
The
for,
last couple seasons with the sprints, I thought was like, yeah, you're pushing for grid position,
Yeah.
just like you were during qualifying.
Yeah, so really with the sprint not affecting the qualifying order, I think it makes the racing a little less, but it also means that you can go full bore as long as you feel like your team can fix anything you do to your car. You could
Yeah.
potentially go full bore and not worry about
What,
starting
like
20th.
a big hole in your side pod because Russell whacks you into a wall.
Yeah, like that.
Right.
If anybody didn't watch the sprint, Russell pushed Verstappen into a wall a bit. It wasn't a full bore where both of them were like
tap,
wrecked out,
but it did punch a hole into Verstappen's side pod.
Yeah,
and
he still finished third.
third.
Those cars are unreal. Those cars are like you've played F1 Manager with like cheat codes and just like never lose
No, it's like when I play F1 2022
on hard mode. I'm that good.
on hard mode. Yeah.
Maybe they'll come. Maybe they'll come to you after this next
I can do
regulation
it.
change.
I almost sent. I was 2 seconds off the lap record at
Yep.
the go-kart track
go-kart
here in
place here,
town.
Oh yeah.
I
Wow.
know. Well, they said, you know what? We were even closer.
We were closer because that was back when they were modding the
Yeah.
carts.
Gotta
This
do a
is
lot
a
of cutting.
racing podcast.
That's true.
They're
Our
interested
races are
in that.
important too. Well, we did 2 races. I won the first race. Paul won the second race. And
There we go.
There you go.
Everybody cares.
And the second race too,
That sounded really shitty the way I said that.
Oh, that's okay. We were shitting on it, so it's okay if
Yeah.
it sounded shitty.
Um,
Go ahead and hammer home that E rating that we got.
yeah. So
It's not an E rating; it's an R rating.
yeah,
We
yeah, it's
just
not
have
for
an
everyone.
explicit tag on the podcast.
E for everyone.
Yeah,
We'll tell that to the parents who want their kids to
our
listen to
podcast
this.
is an E rating. See that little E
Yeah,
next
means
to
it's
it?
for everyone.
That means it's for your kids.
Yeah, don't look into it. So one more thing about this race, because really after the early safety car that DeVries caused, I mean, there was some fights in the middle, but for the most part, Red Bull ran off with
It's a
it.
pretty straightforward race.
But
We'll never have another season like 2021.
well, maybe 2026 when like the engines change and the regs
Yeah.
change and all that.
That's why I appreciated, like, even though I wasn't a fan of certain people, that's why I appreciate their success, because it makes the success of the people I am a fan of feel better.
Verstappen's success?
Yes.
So in this race,
His success hits a little harder when there's someone up there fighting him for it.
Right.
so Ocon didn't pit until literally the last
And
lap.
almost took out the press
Yeah,
pool.
that was.
Yeah, I think
that
that's
was a
going to probably
whiff.
be a big story going
Well,
forward.
and that's what we were talking. I mentioned when it happened. This happened. This same scenario happened not during a race, from what you said.
I don't think it was. Oh, I
and
couldn't
now
remember.
that I think about it, I don't think it was either. But same like situation kind of happened last season, and I thought they were like taking care of that. It's like no one's allowed in the pit lane until it's all over.
Well, so I think what it was last time was something about, like a couple of photographers who got in the pit lane. This one was they were like already closing down the pit lane for like Parc Ferme, which is where they have all the, all the cars park after and they go through and make sure nobody's cheating.
Yeah.
And so they'd already had that. And because of that, because they basically shut down the pit lane, all the photographers were coming out because it's also where they park the top three.
Right.
So they get those shots. Well, so these photographers were just in the middle of the, really
At the
in
entrance.
the middle of the
and
entrance
that was the
of
big
the pit
thing
lane.
too. I think if they weren't all piled in the entrance.
Yeah, like they would have had more time. But I was like, good thing it's not one of those blind entries where you really can't see the pit lane.
Oh
till
yeah,
you
just zoom it in at
into it.
80 miles an hour.
Yeah, but like luckily they got out of the way, and honestly, Ocon he finished 15th. He was still clear of. It didn't affect anything around him. He was going to be there anyways. He'd gone the whole race without pitting. He had to pit or take a huge penalty. So like, that stuff
Which is
it really
pretty
wasn't
crazy that
affected.
they did a whole race on hards.
Yeah, him and Hulkenberg both did.
I'm surprised that people had to have known he was going to have to pit to avoid that penalty. So
Right.
like, I'm surprised that
They-
there wasn't someone
Yeah.
like managing the pit lane. That
Yeah,
was
well,
like,
that's
you
what-
guys can't be
something-
out there because someone still has to.
Yeah.
Ocon still has to come in here and pit.
Well, they
That
were
seems
they were
like a
talking
real
about that a little
oversight.
bit on the broadcast, but I'm sure it's going to be a story going forward. Is that somebody dropped a
yeah.
large ball on this
Yeah.
of not making sure that everybody knew or whatever.
Because they knew they would have to have known he was going to come back in.
Yeah, unless they just assumed he was going to take the penalty. But even then, you should be like, hey, just in case, let's not let people be out there, because like it didn't really affect his times, like I was saying, but it could have potentially killed some people.
Right.
And so I'm sure that's something that they're going to be talking
or
about.
at least sliced some legs off at the
yeah,
shins.
yeah,
At the very least, give him a bummer of a Monday.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
At the very
Oh
least.
God, I hurt my ankle real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad Monday, Sunday fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
They're Sunday. Yeah, that's true. But so not a lot happened. But do you want to go through our
The
weekend
sprint,
warrior?
I mean, yeah, sure.
All right, don't be too excited
Well,
about
I was
it.
gonna say like the sprint was a lot more fun than the race.
Yeah.
because Sonoda's fucking tire fell off.
Yeah, that was also. We'll hit that before we do the
then
weekend warrior.
Since you think the sprint's kind of where it was at this week, then I would be okay with letting you pick the weekend warrior, just because I would feel like I couldn't make a good pick this week.
Well, I'll
where I
say
didn't see
the
that.
guy who won the sprint and won the race was Sergio Perez.
Yeah, Sergio just was killing it this weekend.
Okay, I'm good with giving it to you.
But I'm gonna give Weekend Warrior to Bottas.
Yes.
Oh God, Bottas.
Okay.
Man, I feel bad for him. I don't know if that car is just garbage. It's got to be that car is just garbage.
Yeah, because Bottas.
Because Bottas is
Well,
garbage.
I don't know.
maybe he is garbage. He was driving for Mercedes, who had just the best car for like 10 years straight, and that's why like Hamilton was champion and
Yeah.
Bottas was really good. Maybe they were both just crap drivers, and they just had a really good car.
Well, now he has
There's
a really
no
bad
way to
car.
know.
Yeah, there's no way to know.
We would definitely. I'll tell you this: any car you put Verstappen in, he'd be in first place by a mile.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
He's just amazing.
Even if you put him in Williams' car, he'd
Well,
be like
that's what I was telling you before this. I'm not a big Verstappen fan
Yeah.
because I don't like the guy, but I like Christian Horner
Right.
and I like just the team.
The Red Bull team,
yeah,
yeah.
they have an awesome car and I love them for it.
That's right.
So, do we want to give it to the actual winner?
But
of
if
both
they ever not get constructors champ again, I'm switching the team that I like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
That's
fair.
a good
how
way to
I
be
am.
a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the
So they
first
just
place
better,
people.
if they
Yeah.
want to keep me as a fan, they just better keep
If
bringing
you're not
it.
in first,
You're
I don't
last.
like
Yeah.
you.
Right. Yep. That's my.
So we can either give Weekend Warrior to the guy who finished first in the sprint and the race, or the guy who finished first behind the pace cars.
Finish.
No, not Bottas.
Oh,
Leclerc
that's
finished
what I
first.
said. Bottas finish.
If you take out both the Red Bulls, which are just far superior cars, Leclerc finished first. But honestly, I'm fine giving it to Perez.
I'm not fine with giving it to Perez.
oh my God.
This is what happens. Let it. Like, he's like,
Well,
Paul,
'cause
you can pick the guy, and 20 minutes later, it's like,
Well, so I'm thinking about it more.
Okay.
I like the Leclerc pick
Okay.
because this has been his best weekend
okay,
this season.
I like this. I was
Okay.
afraid for a moment
Well, I
they
know
were
you
giving
like
too much
this.
power to.
He's your boyfriend.
I was afraid
You-
for it.
I think you stole
Taylor
it from
Swift.
Tay-Tay. You stole him from Tay-Tay.
I don't care what you say, but I think that's a good pick. I was worried for a second that giving you too much power by saying you can pick and it's all up to you, and you're like, well, then
What, the Red Bull driver?
let's just see what happens.
So in that case, then the Weekend Warrior is Charles Leclerc. Is that what we've decided, Paul?
I like it.
Okay. So Charles Leclerc, contact us at F1side-pod.
That's good because Perez's hat's already still here, and he hasn't come pick up his hat.
Yeah,
from
true.
earlier.
Yeah. So contact us. Yeah, he picked the trucker hat.
Oh,
but
he
you can
picked
get
the hat. Okay.
Yeah, you can get a trucker hat or a koozie, but not both.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have the stocks for that. So contact us, and we will get that over to you, Charles.
Shortly.
But so that ends the talking about Azerbaijan, and we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about the next race. Oh, Canada. The next race is coming up. Oh, wait.
Oh, Canada.
sorry.
What are you talking
No,
about?
it's Miami. It's
Oh.
Miami.
USA. USA.
It's Miami. Almost literally the opposite of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. There's our theme song.
Is this the Miami theme song?
Yes.
Miami-
No, the
is
Miami
this
theme song
Miami
is something
Vice?
by Ricky Ricardo.
Is this Miami Vice's theme song? What am I hearing right now? Because I'm not hearing
It's
it.
national anthem.
Okay. I don't have headphones on.
Oh, yeah.
I thought we were just going to be playing the Miami Vice theme song.
So the next one, Miami, the second annual
Mm-hmm.
Miami Grand Prix.
Yep.
Are we gonna have real water or not for the
well,
yachts?
okay. So I think
That's the biggest thing.
I think
Last year there was fake water.
Last year there was fake water and it looked like
A
shit.
goofy little
So
contest.
I
so
messaged this in our messenger group, and last week I thought, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I thought that we might have real water because Miami was underwater because of torrential downpours.
Yeah, nailed it.
And the whole track was underwater at that point. And,
It would be hard to race on.
Yeah, but you could park your yachts on it. So, but it's fake water again this year.
Okay. Well, that's a shame. Maybe they'll get their shit together at some point. I mean, it's also fake boats. The boats are also literally built
were
onto
they?
the ground. Yeah.
Oh, I
they're
thought they
fake.
just like propped real boats
No,
up.
it's
Oh,
worse than that. They just
damn.
built fake boats onto the ground and then put a decal that looks kind of like water on the ground.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Here's the thing. I would expect that from Vegas to do like
Yeah,
a fake version
I
of
expect it
something.
from Florida.
That's
Florida's
true.
where
Florida
Disney's
is-
at.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Disney does a better job than that. We'll give them
fair.
credit. But
They'd put fake water.
they would, I mean, they'd put fake water, but it'd look more like real water.
It looked like good, really good fake water.
Yeah, they'd have sound effects coming from it. It'd smell like water. But yeah, so Miami, they did a couple changes to their track from last year. Not the big stuff that people wanted, which was getting rid of the like super tight corners at the end of Sector 2.
I like that tight chicane, that uphill chicane.
Yeah, right before that
I
long
love
ass
that.
straight.
Yeah, it's awesome.
See, I think a lot of the other like the drivers didn't like it.
Well, as a driver on the F1 game, I really liked that. It was fun.
Well, Paul, they did decide to go with your recommendations over the drivers.
Yeah.
Thank God.
They did. But no, I'm excited again. It's coming. It's more American races. The tickets are fucking crazy expensive. I don't know. I'll say this on here. I don't
Not
care.
as crazy as Vegas, though.
No, not nowhere near. I had
Really?
somebody. Vegas are
Vegas
like
is
it's like
$2,000 or something.
That's what Miami was last year.
well, no. I think Vegas at this point, which I don't know how much the other ones were, but at this point they only have package deals left, which are like $100,000 and above. You've got to get like a hotel and everything, like a package all together.
Well, I had one of my spies out in Vegas last week, and he was saying that they're already tearing up the strip and asphalting it for the race, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I've heard the locals are kind of irritated by it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
No, well, it's not. They're not irritated by the thing that you or me would have thought they'd be irritated. Why do you think they were irritated?
That they're messing up traffic was
I
my
think
thought.
Nope.
I think they're irritated because they're not going to be able to watch it.
Nope. So they're irritated because all the side roads that are not the strip have huge potholes all in them, and they're shit roads. And then
They're not fixing those.
yeah,
they're
and
just
the
fixing
cities
the race
and
road.
yeah, and they're fixing the race roads and not the actual roads that the citizens drive on.
Interesting.
That's pretty funny.
yeah,
yeah.
that doesn't surprise me.
They're also probably not going to, most of them are not going to be able to watch the race.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. But the other American race that people were upset about from last year, last year they were upset about the fact that it was going to be too loud
Where?
at Miami.
Oh,
A lady actually, at least, well, I'm sure multiple people did, but I remember there was she filed a lawsuit against like the city of Miami and F1 because she said it was going to be too loud.
It is loud.
It is loud, but she lost that, and they said, "Fuck you." They're giving us a lot of money.
yeah. There's too much. There's more money than you
They're like,
have to
they're
not
like,
make
here.
it loud.
They're like, oh well, here we'll dry our tears with the money they're giving us.
Yeah. If you can match this money, we'll make it not loud.
Yeah, we'll make them silent for this
Yeah.
race.
Just
It was
negotiate
like, here,
with some
here's some
poor-
headphones. Here's some earplugs.
Some
Go
poor lady
fuck off.
that's like, just can't stand the noise or whatever.
Yeah.
Just
Like,
negotiate.
how much money do you have? Well, Social Security gives
Not
me
enough.
$600 a month. It's like, yeah, that ain't gonna make it.
Yeah.
That's not enough money to make it not loud.
But yeah, no, Miami's tickets are expensive. And I actually got a call from somebody this year. They were like, "Do you want tickets?"
What?
No, not free to buy. They're like, "Would you like tickets to the Miami Grand Prix?" And I was like, "How much are they?" And she was like, "Well, we've got different ticket packages," and told us about them. And I was like, "No," I was like, "I can't.
They're like $1,800.
I can't afford that."
Aren't they?
Yeah,
Well, did you say? Well,
I did ask how she got my number.
well, you should have asked. It's like, well, I am one of the members of the F1 Side Pod podcast.
Yeah, I should have dropped
And-
that. She probably would have given them to me for free.
Right.
Yeah.
And us.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, and who are your little buddies that you're doing the podcast with?
Like, you think an old lady was cold calling?
Well, because we were just talking about old ladies and loud noises. So,
But no, I did ask. I was like, "How did you get my number?" And she was like, "Well, you were on
I got a sheet from the data center. Here's a Excel spreadsheet.
Someone's been clicking accept cookies, I think.
Well, like basically, I wanted
my chocolate chip cookies.
last year. I just wanted information on when the tickets went on sale because I didn't know how expensive they'd be.
Oh, okay. So you inquired and they delivered.
Yeah. Well, but then I like a week later got tickets I got a call about, do you want season tickets to the Miami Dolphins? And I was like, ma'am, I live in Kentucky. I was like, no. I was like, not only am I not a Dolphins fan,
only if Dan Marino is throwing.
Yeah.
Hey, they got cheap flights to get to Miami from here, just at JSYK.
Nice. Well, maybe I should have said yes, but I said no. I'm not interested. But now about the actual race. Do we want to do some sort of predicciones? I don't know if that's a Spanish word for predictions or not.
I think that you know what? Actually, I feel like I have seen the Spanish word for that, and it is something that looks kind of like predicción.
It probably
or
is,
something
yeah.
like CIO.
Like bicicleta.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Spanish word.
I like that one too. But predictions for Miami.
I think Red Bull's going to probably finish towards the top.
Yeah, I want to keep their name out of my mouth because that's
Who's going to finish after the pace cars? Who's going to finish?
yeah.
Who's getting third, fourth, fifth?
You know, the way that Leclerc was talking today, it did sound like that they are feeling more consistent over there at Ferrari, and I've not really got to pick them for anything in a while. Like I know I do like their team, but I think since I wasn't able to pick them for so long because they kind of were just really floundering, I wouldn't be opposed to picking them for next week.
Which one of them?
I think Leclerc.
I will say Leclerc and Sainz last year. Leclerc was P2, Sainz P3, 5 seconds separating them.
Yeah, I definitely think Leclerc's the stronger driver at the moment, and so I'm going to say he's my dark horse driver for.
Is this dark horse?
Is that what we're doing? I was just talking predictions. Hold up. Wait, but
who
maybe
is that?
But maybe he's coming over the hill.
I thought I saw him. You guys didn't see him yet?
Oh, here he comes.
Dark horse driver.
Oh, yeah, there he was. I saw him. Oh, those hoofbeats.
Okay, so now we know it was Leclerc. Noah
Okay,
thought it was
he was the
Leclerc.
dark-
Well, here's the
horse,
thing.
okay.
I'm looking. The horseman was coming up on the sunset behind you guys, and I saw him.
Oh, okay.
I saw him, and I guess you guys didn't see him
You
reach the horizon. As
You
early
saw
as
him
I
with
did.
the sun blaring in your eyes?
Because he
outline.
blocked it. You know how like it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, suddenly a flicker of light hit me because he
From
blocked
his
the-
pocket watch?
Yeah, but since he was behind you, I saw him come over the horizon, so I thought, oh, we're doing Dark Horse Driver now, and you guys just didn't see him yet.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, dark horse driver is basically anybody we think is going to perform well, or maybe perform above what they have been. So yours is Leclerc. I think that's a solid choice. I mean, I think we all know Red Bulls are going to be at the front. So
Keep their name out your mouth.
what are you going to slap me, Will Smith?
I just
Topical.
put a good slap sound
Only a
effect in
year
there.
and a half ago. I'm not going to.
And then find a take of Cody going, "Oh, sorry, I'll never say anything like that again." If we have one from a past show, we could put in there.
Well, we're also
Has he said that on the podcast before?
no.
Okay, it's on the soundboard. Okay, good.
Yeah, that you can't hear because you forgot your headphones.
Because I don't have headphones.
Yeah.
But we do have a button where Cody apologizes.
Well,
Well, it's
Paul
me,
apologizes.
but it's mocking
And now I'm
people
gonna
that are apologizing.
now I'm gonna cut your thing and make it a drop. So we'll have both of you saying I'm sorry.
Oh, great.
Let's see.
Fucking idiot.
That's a new drop.
What did you just do? I can't hear it.
You'll have to listen to the podcast to figure it out.
Never. I would never hear myself.
Let's see. You know what? With their new upgrades, I'm saying Lando Norris is my dark horse driver.
See, that's what I was gonna go with, like Norris for sure.
Tough shit.
Ooh, you can't.
Well, I'm agreeing
It's
with you.
not-
We gotta
no,
pick
no, no,
one.
no, no.
We gotta pick one.
No, that's
no.
Weekend Warrior. Dark
Yeah.
Horse Driver, each pick one.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry, it's Paul's first time on this
Yeah.
podcast.
You're new.
Hi guys, I'm Paul.
Put that drop in there where you say, "I'm sorry, I'll never say that again."
Fucking idiot.
Anyways, Paul, who's your dark horse driver?
Okay. Well, I can't say Norris because you called it.
Yeah. Maybe one of the Mercedes boys?
Oh, hell no. I'm gonna. Why can't I say Norris too?
Yes, you can.
That's not how dark horse driver works.
Yeah,
But I already was gonna say him.
I know.
Well,
and the
that's
fun
where-
part,
He just because he says it first.
the fun part is the drama. So now
Yeah.
it's like, what am I gonna do?
Somebody takes your pick. It's like a draft.
Hell, I'm gonna say
You don't know any more
No.
drivers.
no. There's all I know is Perez and Verstappen. No, I'm gonna say Carlos Sainz is gonna do better than your
So
Charles
you guys are
Leclerc.
going. You guys are going head to head.
Yeah, I'm gonna go head to head
Oh.
with Noah.
I just think Norris is going to have a good day. He didn't finish this race
Well,
last year.
I do too, Cody.
Well-
I think he's gonna do well too, Cody.
Why didn't you make him your pick before Cody did?
Yeah.
Because Cody talked first.
Yeah.
Why are you
exactly.
talking so slow?
Because I've had a couple beers.
And there we go. It comes
Yeah.
down to it.
Yeah.
All out on the table now for
Yeah.
every.
Paul, this is an
Yeah.
intervention.
Shit.
We got you, you son
We've
of a
been doing this
bitch.
podcast for a year.
Just
to get-
for this moment.
Finally, this got brought up in an organic way.
Now we can confront it.
This doesn't actually go out to anyone.
We've been having you post on a dummy site for a year.
You think we would have given up at this point?
Yeah.
You're in for the long haul.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there you go. The dark horse drivers, both of the Ferrari boys, and then I alone thought that Norris is going to have a good
I think
weekend.
that's a good prediction, Cody.
Yeah,
a smart
thanks.
person's prediction.
Yeah, I think so.
I agree, Cody.
Oh.
It was a smart person's.
Now, don't bandwagon.
Let's calm
No,
down.
don't be weird. Don't be weird like that.
But yeah, so Miami, is it next week? Let me double check this. Are we actually
Yeah, it's
are we
next
actually
week.
getting two
Because
in
I'm
a
going to
row?
be in Louisville at the church. Right?
at the
At the Kentucky.
At the
At the
church?
Churchill?
Are you going to be
At
at
the
church?
Churchill Derby.
I've got church next week. I can't watch racing.
Yeah, so it's a week. We went a month without racing, and now it's
It's
just,
finally
it's back to back.
It's finally ramping up again. Like that's what has sucked over the past 2 months. It's like we've had 3 races.
Yeah.
And it's just huge gaps between. Well, and I saw though, like there was supposed to be a Chinese Grand Prix this year, and it got
Yeah.
canceled.
Yeah.
So that was supposed to be last week was Chinese Grand
maybe.
Prix,
Yeah.
or 2 weeks ago. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
why
why.
it feels like such a huge gap. It's
Yeah.
because they didn't do it.
They were going to fill it in with Portugal. Some people thought, but
Oh.
it didn't come together fast
Okay.
enough. But yeah, so I'm happy that we've at least got racing in back-to-back weeks finally, and we'll see who finishes third behind the pace cars, I guess. But we will, I guess, just see you guys next week. But you can find us here. Find us here next week.
Nice.
This has been the F1 Side Pod. You can find us on Twitter at F1Side-Pod. Email us if you want to sponsor us. We'll read your stuff. F1sidepod@gmail.com. Noah, what should they say if they're reviewing us on
Talk
podcast?
about all the funny drops we do, like
Yeah.
the sound drops
Yeah.
that you can't hear.
That Noah
that I
can't
can't
hear.
hear. Talk
Yeah.
about how funny those sound.
Yeah. But
And how it's
I'm,
obvious that everyone can hear them. Everyone
Yeah.
on the podcast can hear them too.
I'm Cody,
I'm Noah.
And I'm Paul.
and we will catch you guys next time.